If you're looking to move your family down to Punta Cana and are wondering what your educational options are, this video is completely for you. Today, I'm gonna break down the 6 US accredited schools in Punta Cana, including their tuition, their educational philosophy, and who I think each school is best for. I'm gonna customize this to you. And to make it even easier, down below at the top of the description, there's a link where you can get the tuition packets for all of these schools sent right to your inbox. Completely free, just need your email address. But then, I'm gonna share several alternative schools that are available for you, whether you don't love the US educational system and don't care about accreditation, or your kids are neurodivergent or on the autism spectrum. And I'll give you tuition on those as well. Last but not least, I'm gonna share my perspective on the private education system in DR after having lived there for a few years, and I'm doing that all from my little hometown here in upstate New York as I'm back visiting family for the summer. Let's dive in. Hey, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Jamie Gruber. I quit my $400,000+ a year job back in 2021 and moved to the Dominican Republic with my family in 2022. And on this channel, I try to just share insights and perspective about the economy, real estate, life, raising a family, and all of that. My experiences in DR. All right, let's talk about these 6 US accredited schools. All right. I went through, and I'm gonna put these in order of tuition, the lowest tuition school to the highest tuition school. And again, all 6 of these are accredited in the US by accrediting bodies that your school or universities in the country are accredited by. Meaning all 6 of these schools, if your biggest worry is, will my kids get a US-based education that they can apply to a US-based college? The answer is absolutely. And I know families who have kids from each of these 6 schools that have gone to state universities in many states, all the way up to Harvard, Columbia, and so on. So these 6 schools are where you can get there. The first one is Máximo Potencial. Their tuition rate goes from $6,000 to $6,500 a year based on the pamphlets below. And I would consider this best for small class size, more personalized or individualized attention for your kids. And if you're a family that just wants a really close relationship with the students with the teachers, the faculty at these schools. Right now, Máximo Potencial is in a building inside the village, but they have an actual campus being built right now in what's known as City Place. And I think it's supposed to be ready maybe for not the 2026 school year, but 2027. I could be wrong on that. I don't know. The point is, the biggest knock to me on that would be, well, you're in a building, you don't have a full campus, but that's about to end. Máximo Potencial is going to have that campus. I'm also told that their graduation, maybe it's optional, I don't know, happens in Pennsylvania, I think it is. Like they do graduation overseas. Stupid flies. And also they use the Bridgeway program. If you're familiar with that as a parent, that's, I think when you look at the tuition package in the folder below, there's actually a Máximo Potencial folder within the folder because there's multiple different tuition packages based on age, Bridgeway, so on and so forth. All right, the next school up in price range would be Bávaro Innovation School. And I have their tuition range going from $6,200 to $6,700. Again, this is a smaller school, so if you want intimacy, you're gonna get that. By the way, these are K through 12. All of the ones we're talking about are K through 12. And I would say this has the best overall value as far as like, if you're price conscious on tuition and you want a great academic experience, I think this is your spot. You get a modern international curriculum without paying the premium prices. I know parents that bring their kids to this school and they absolutely love it. Next one up in price is Bávaro Bilingual School, and I have tuition ranging from $6,400 to $7,700 per year. You'll see in the tuition pamphlets, most of these schools start, kids younger start at a certain price and then they go up as the kid gets older. And every year the price adjusts 2, 3, 4, 5%. It goes a little bit higher overall every year. So just be mindful of that. I think Bávaro Bilingual I would classify for families first that are sort of toward the northern edge. If you're living in like a Cana Rock, Cana Bay, or in the northern part of Punta Cana, this school is great. It's the most established school. I think it's been there the longest of any of them, to be honest with you. They have AP classes, traditional American style education, a great campus, all of that stuff. So Bávaro Bilingual, I think, is just like your best traditional American style education that's been established. If you want that more conventional, like I want my kids to feel exactly like they did in the States, I mean, many of these have that, but this is probably one of your better options. Now, the next school up in price, it does jump a bit, is going to be PCIS, Punta Cana International School. This sits in Punta Cana Village, and its tuition ranges from $8,000 to $11,000 per year per kid. All of these, if I wasn't clear, I'm saying these prices are per year per kid. You'll see in the pamphlets that you can do like monthly payments or like 2, 3, 4 times a year payments, but just know that the total of the payments will be higher depending on how many payments you make. So if you want to if it's $8,000 for PCIS for a year for one student, if you pay monthly, you may end up paying $9,000 in total, or $9,500 or whatever. If you pay twice a year, it might be like $8,500 and so on. PCIS, I would say, is maybe best for like the most diverse student body, and there's a couple of reasons for that. PCIS is owned by a company called Grupo Punta Cana. I interviewed the founder of that. His name is Frank Ranieri over on my Grow Up with Gruber channel. And Grupo Punta Cana, if you're not familiar, they are kind of the nerve center, the creation of what we know to be Punta Cana today. They own the airport, they own the school, they own they oversee the Grupo Punta Cana, the Punta Cana Foundation, which is the Environmental Preservation Foundation. They are a leading company in the country. And the neighborhood that this sits in, Punta Cana Village, that's where I live. And it's an amazing community. It's the premier community, I believe, for families in the entire country. I say that with some confidence. It's higher priced, a home, 4-bedroom villa, you're gonna spend $800,000 plus. So you attract, when people come into the country, you attract people on the higher end of the socioeconomic ladder and those families, although this is not the highest priced school. But you have that. There's kids from Spain, there's kids from Mexico, kids from Portugal, kids from all over the world, the United States, Canada. But more than that, because this is owned by Grupo Punta Cana and they have a ton of employees, everything from, the lowest paid employee all the way up, their employees get significant discounts and even, I think, free tuition for their kids if they're employees of the company. So your kid will go to school not only with kids from Spain that are a little bit higher on the socioeconomic ladder, but also a kid from Verón whose mom is a cleaning person at one of the buildings in Grupo Punta Cana. And honestly, if you live in Punta Cana Village, an incredible community, just a very involved, kid-friendly, kids on bikes running around doing all this stuff community, PCIS is an extension for those families to have even more of a basis of community right there. Kids can ride bikes to school and so on. But PCIS, $8,000 to $11,000 per year, varies by grade, payment plan, so on. The next school up on the tuition scale is kind of in the same ballpark as PCIS, and that is Ashton School. Ashton School is a new campus. It's actually not even fully built yet. It will be soon, sitting in Vista Cana, which to me, Ashton makes, for those of you that are investing and thinking about it, Ashton makes Vista Cana, to me, a future destination as a community. There's a lot to go there, but I've said it a lot. I think Vista Cana has a ton of potential. Ashton School is a big part of that. It went from like, is Vista Cana like Airbnb investment worthy to now, no, buy long-term, families are moving there. I honestly, if I had to dub it, I think the overall best educational experience that you're gonna get when it comes to everything, campus amenities, education, the kind of extracurriculars that they have, an entire slate of them, Ashton's your spot. For a lot of families, the only reason they're not bringing their kids to Ashton School is that it's a little further away from, say, if you live by Cana Rock or if you live down in Cap Cana or Punta Cana Village. The drive is a little bit long with traffic. But Ashton has disrupted the Punta Cana market. They've come in, they've forced all the other schools to look at what they're doing and improve themselves. I mean, look, PCIS has been there a long time. They're a good school, but even they, I know, have invested in the administration. They brought people in internationally to elevate the status of the school, which is a good thing. Competition brings out the best, right? And Ashton has kind of dropped a bomb in the area saying, hey, here we are. We've got an established campus in Santo Domingo, highly reputable. We're here to play. Ashton also is a Christian-based school, meaning that it's not like that kids don't go to church or anything there, but they do integrate prayer and Bible study into the lessons there. So again, for families that want kind of everything all in one, to me, Ashton School has that offering right now more than any other. All right, the sixth and final international school, a US accredited school in the Punta Cana area, and I rank these by price lowest to highest, is going to be Heritage School. So I mentioned Ashton School, $9,000 to $12,000, PCIS, $8,000 to $11,000. It's kind of your middle. Well, Heritage School goes from about $16,000, maybe a touch under, and up per student per year. And look, Heritage, look here, an incredible campus, beautiful facilities. They've got a lot of sports and recreation activities as well. They have a great swimming program with, I think it's called Belote. And again, all of these, Ashton has a swimming program, Punta Cana Village has a swimming program with Carita Feliz, but you get it. To me, Heritage, which I've been told, and I don't know this for sure, has like more of a Montessori style education. Heritage is probably best if you think about it from like an elite network perspective. Families that can afford to send their kids to Heritage, yes, they want the education, and I'm sure it's fine. They want the facilities and the extracurricular options. But if you value the power of the network, and I think this is smart, like my kids, I think, this is my thought on college right now, like I don't know the value of a state school. My kids are 11 and 8. I don't know the value of going to like a state school in the States right now, unless you're gonna be a doctor, a lawyer, like something very specific, an engineer. I would rather, if you're gonna invest in college, go to Harvard, go to Columbia, not because of the education, but because of who you're going to be surrounded with and the power of the network that you'll be able to grow up and build with. Same thing with Heritage. I mean, they all are. They're all great schools, but I think Heritage just kind of They kick up the price point. They really lean into, from a Cap Cana perspective, which is where this is, hey, we are luxury, we are elite. And families that prioritize that, you're gonna find them at Heritage. You're gonna find, and I know families that go there, they do well. It is a great network. They're very well connected. So I feel like that is a big reason, that's just me, why you would consider Heritage School. So again, to be clear, all 6 of the schools I've mentioned so far, by the way, my kids go to none of these. Just people are gonna ask, like, which one do your kids go to? First, I would never share that. I can tell you, no school I'm talking about today do my kids go to. But my kids have gone to multiple schools in Punta Cana. We're not shy about bouncing them around. In fact, a lot of people ask that, like, well, aren't you afraid of, like, you're bouncing your kids around, like, creating instability? It's like, I'm not. My kids live a very good life. They have a lot of privileges. We're blessed in that regard. Having them play sports, having them go into communities like Friusa, where we are able to, help kids that are really struggling, orphans, that sort of thing. Bringing them to different schools so they have to learn how to re-engage and meet people or whatever in a community like Punta Cana, where you see all the same kids after school anyway, in soccer and everything. If we have to manufacture a little grit for our kids, that's fine. We're not doing it intentionally, but we're not afraid to experiment with which school fits our kids best. And again, that's personal for me. I don't want to get into all that here, but those are the 6 international schools with their tuition ranges. And again, you can get everything down below. And hopefully it gives you a little guidance on which school might be best for me, but visit all of them. Now, I want to get into the alternative schools, but before I do, I want you to consider something. My wife and I put together what's called the DR Inner Circle, which is a community of folks looking to move to, invest in, or that already live in DR, not just Punta Cana, all of DR. We have over 1,200 people in this community talking and interacting across multiple different topics like life in Santiago, Santo Domingo, Punta Cana, Puerto Plata, and more, along with chapters in New York, New England, Canada, Texas, the DMV, you name it. And what's wonderful is today I'm talking about Punta Cana school options. Well, if you want to know the school options in Santiago, Santo Domingo, if you're part of the Inner Circle, you'll get that insight from other parents. In fact, we even have a Raising Kids in DR chat group, all of which are highly engaged. And with all of that discussion having taken place over the last year, it's hard to go in and jump in all of a sudden and get all this information as a new member. So we've created an AI platform currently called Jamie GPT, which you can just search and look up and see, like, wow, okay, what have people talked about in terms of Santiago schools? We pull all of the conversations into this so that you can search and get the answers out while protecting the privacy of the people who gave the information they did in our chat groups. Look, my objective is to make moving to or living in DR as risk-free and easy as possible. So we have insurance brokers that give discounts that service expats or people moving from abroad, immigrants like me. I'm an immigrant, I'm full-time. No intention of going back, that's an expat. And for our annual members, those who choose to join for the year, we actually have an enhanced banking relationship with Banco Lopez de Aro, where you get a bilingual account manager abroad that can do everything for you before you get to country and just simply sign to open your account, service your account, and even give you preferential rates and access to their corporate Forex department for our annual members, so you can get the highest exchange rate without having to go to an outside exchange place. Right now, the pricing is $12 per month if you want to do it monthly, but I take a look at the yearly. We charge $100 for that year. You're going to get the banking access in addition to every other benefit, the community, the bonus content, the weekly Q&A, the monthly state of the market discussions that we have. But for the annual members as well, I'm going to send you this mug that says Dominican Republic has it all on the front, and on the back, a signature with the Inner Circle. Show you're a part of something really cool. You can either scan this right here, this QR on screen, or you can go to jamiegruber.com, join us, give us a shot. It's not about me, it's not a fan club, it's about all of you. All right. Let's talk about some of the alternative school options with their tuition rates. I have them here on my phone ready for you. The first one is called Majio Multicultural Academy. The tuition rate ranges from $4,000 to $5,500. It looks like grades 1 through 5 is about $4,000, grades 6 through 12 is $5,500. Again, I don't believe, I could be wrong, somebody can correct me down below, that it is US accredited. I see this more and I hear about this more being a sort of homeschool alternative, more of an entrepreneurial curriculum, but still American and bilingual. All of these schools are, by the way, all bilingual in a multicultural environment. They're located, I believe, in Bávaro, so you can check them out and yeah, see what you think. The next one that I have tuition rates for is called Ikigai. Now, if you're not familiar with the concept of Ikigai, I actually love it. It's a Japanese phrase that essentially means purpose in life. So the school culture is designed around that. Ikigai is the intersection of 4 different things. What are you great at? What do you love doing? What does the world need? And what can you make money doing? If you can answer those 4 things and find the center of that, that's your Ikigai. The school is a Finnish-American concept. Again, I don't believe it's US accredited, but they are using, is it BA? I think it's called? Whatever it is, a highly regarded curriculum at that school. It's currently in a building in the village like Máximo Potencial, and they have gotten approval to build a campus. I don't know the exact location, although I have my sense of where it's going to be, but I don't believe it's broken ground yet, so they might be a couple of years away. This school right now, Ikigai, from what I understand, goes up to 6th grade and ages up every year. So this year they have 6th grade, next year the 6th graders become their first 7th graders, and so on and so forth until they go all the way up through 12th grade, and then they'll have the full slate of classes for you. I would say Ikigai is your solution if you're into child-led education. There's teachers, but they more guide and let the students explore their curiosity more than follow this curriculum. Now, another school where you'll get the tuition down below, or at least a pamphlet with what to do about tuition, is called Talentum. It's Talentum. We'll put that right here on screen. Talentum, I would say, is your special needs school in the area. And I've learned a ton about kids with special needs, everything from being blind through neurodivergent through being somewhere on the autism spectrum. Not a higher or lower, just like all of those in between. I gotta be honest, guys, I don't, sometimes I wonder if how I'm saying things for kids with special needs is coming across maybe insensitively, and I don't mean to. I don't know the right terminology, so I hope you'll forgive me if I kind of, am stepping on my words in any way. Because again, I've learned so much about what the parents of kids with special needs need to go through depending on where a kid is, if they're nonverbal or verbal, and even learned about what kids go through when they're especially nonverbal in certain school environments. So I know it's a very sensitive topic and one to be fully researched by a parent before they consider moving their kid into another country and then into a special needs school. But Talentum is there for you to take a look at. Now, there are other schools in the area. There's Olas Academy, there's Owls, I think it's called, or maybe it's Las Olas and Owls Academy. These are smaller, non-accredited schools, I believe all in the Bávaro area that you can check out. In Verón, there's a Christian school. I think it's Punta Cana Christian Academy or Punta Cana Christian School. Again, I don't have a ton of information on it, but you could check that out. And then there are others. One was just brought to my attention the other day. It's Dominicano something. It's in Friusa. It's much lower cost, and you're going to have more local Dominicans there. So if it's important for your kids to be in a bilingual environment, maybe not accredited, I don't believe it is, but where you've got more of the folks that live in the Friusas, the Verons, folks that have working class parents in DR, well, then that's an option, a more budget-friendly option than, say, a PCIS where you may get that exact same thing. But there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is comparing the quality of education between what your kids get in the States versus what they could get here privately. Look, I grew up in this little town after my family moved from Long Island, Bayshore, Islip area when I was, I think, 9 or 10. 4th grade, I came up. It actually wasn't even this town. It was one town over, but same thing. Very small school, very small area, very rural. Like people from downstate New York, you say upstate and you think of like Westchester or Rockland County. That's downstate from here. This is what my school looks like, the one I graduated from here in upstate New York. This building that you're seeing houses K through 12, all of them, and it's about 400 kids, which means I graduated with about 30 kids. To give you a perspective on my graduating class and really the area in general, poverty rates in this county run up to probably 18 to 20%. Addiction rate, if there is one, everything I've researched is probably in the same ballpark. Out of the 30 kids I graduated with, 3 of them have passed. I'm pretty sure all 3, I know at least 2, were due to suicide. And I'm pretty sure in all 3 cases there was addiction in play. But other kids that I graduated with also struggled with addiction. When you go to greatschools.org, which is what a lot of people base the quality of education on. What's the rating on there? 10 of 10 being your best one. And in Michigan, where I used to live, Brighton, Michigan, that's what it was. 10 of 10. Amazing. This school, right here, 4 of 10 is what it was rated growing up. Meaning it was fine, but it didn't have anything that stood out. In fact, from a sports perspective, we had soccer in the fall, basketball in the winter, baseball in the spring, or softball if you're a girl. That's it. No other sports, no other options. That was everything. We used to go up to the shale banks. They were somewhere up in the middle of nowhere when I was like 16, 17. Grab a keg. I shouldn't say this because if somebody's watching, well, you don't know where I am. Grab a keg, stick it in the shale banks, and then we would just get blasted as 16, 17, 18-year-olds in our town. My parents are watching. I think you know that by now. It was like 30 years ago. We're all okay. But from that, I know of kids that drove drunk home after that, and some didn't make it. So I paint that picture just to say, like, when I think about me and where I went to school and the educational option that I had, I could tell you that every one of the schools that I just outlined for you, the curriculum, the educators, the other students, the families around them are at a higher level. I don't mean families are better, but like they're at a higher level, more successful, more accomplished, more well-traveled than most, if not all, of the families at the school and the school that I went to. And look at me. I turned out okay. But seriously, there are people I know that own businesses that I graduated with. One has a very high position at a major university, another is an accomplished attorney. So while I talk about some of the downsides, some of the folks that have struggled with addiction or have taken their lives, which when you think about it, that's 10% of my class. There's also a large percentage of kids that have done really well coming from a school many would consider not worth their time, 4 out of 10. If you want to go even further, my wife, my beautiful wife, who was born and raised in the Dominican Republic until the age of 12, before immigrating to the Boston area, the school she went to, this is their grade schools rating. 1 of 10. And 1 isn't top, 1 is bottom. 10 of 10 is the best. And what my wife did with that, living in a working class family with really just her mom and her sister, she got a full ride scholarship to a top liberal arts school, graduated with honors, and even spent a semester or 2 in Italy, speaks fluent Italian along with English and Spanish. I got barely 1 language, she's got 3. And if you want to know how successful she is, this is how brilliant she is. She did one thing that makes her the smartest, most intelligent, most successful person I've ever met. She married me. Completely kidding. My wife is an extremely accomplished person. We met working together in Boston. She was a fast mover. She was coming in at the entry level right out of college, and all of a sudden, she's the person everybody wants to hire into their departments. 1 out of 10, great schools. 4 out of 10, great schools. I think what I mean to say is, look, I get it. You know, you want to not disadvantage your kids by moving them to the Dominican Republic, to Punta Cana, and putting them in a school that may have different or fewer or not the same amenities. I can't tell you that there is, because there isn't, like a high school competitive circuit where schools play each other in leagues like they do in the US. They do these invitationals. You go around the country and play soccer or baseball or whatever. But what I miss there or what I don't get there, I make up for with the fact that I know my kids are safe going to school. There's no mass shootings, school shootings. The kids support each other way more in DR than I see them supporting each other here. That's more blanket, I know, but you get my point. The environment the kids are in, and even the perspective and mindset they have, like my kids and other kids that are getting closer to college age, the decision is no longer state school or out of state school. The decision is like, do I go to the States for college? Do I stay in DR? Or do I go to Europe or Southeast Asia or whatever? My 11-year-old said at one point, Dad, I get why you moved us here. Kids, I see other American kids moving here compared to the kids that are here like me. And there's just like a difference in maturity. Kids here, meaning in DR, I'm in the US right now, but kids in DR, to him, seem more mature, more mindful. They help younger kids more. And he sees the difference when new kids from the United States move in. They've been here since the age of 7 and 4. So we always say our younger guy is sort of consciously Dominican, being half Dominican already, but like his memories are all living in DR. And our older kid, most of his memories are living in DR. So I really believe it comes down to the quality of what happens in the home above and beyond the quality of what happens at the school. That's just me. For some people, traditional education is still the utmost importance, and that 10 out of 10 great schools, it matters more than anything. I don't get that at all, especially not in the AI era that we're in and entering into, but I respect that people have that perspective. Yeah. I really hope that helps. I hope this gives you, in however many minutes this video is, a primer on exactly what schools are like in Punta Cana. Again, if you need more, join the Inner Circle, and we've got tons of discussions on different school options, family options around the country for you and your family. Now, what I'll do, I'll put up here if people are wondering about, okay, where do I live now? I did this video a while back. I do need to update it. Maybe I'll come back and update this video. But this is sort of like, depending on what you want, what you're looking for, where to live in the Punta Cana area. Hope that video helps you out a little bit. Again, I'll update it soon, but I'll see you on the next one.